episode of Scientifically Speaking. Today, my guest is the Ada McVean, who is a science writer and communicator, and she received her bachelor's with a double major in bioorganic chemistry and gender, sexuality, feminist, and social justice studies from McGill University in 2019. Welcome. Holy, that's very loaded. How was your undergrad experience?
Yeah, I everyone always asks if I have like some unique way of like combining the two. And the
Yeah.
truth is just that I instead of taking like bird courses to fill up the rest of my degree, I wanted to take like gender studies classes just because I was interested. And
Yeah.
then I finished my minor and then I didn't want to stop. So then I was like, I guess it could be a second major. And it's I honestly I loved
Yo.
it. I am in the unique position to say whether science or arts is harder, and it's
Mhm.
science. There's no question.
Oh my God,
Like
girl,
I have a
hands down.
4.0 in my arts.
Hands down. Here's the thing. I'm sure I always reiterate this. I double majored in biochem and theater. It always bugged me when like theater kids are like, "Oh my gosh, school is so hard." Like these theater classes. And I'm like, come on, y'all. Like most of my theater classes, it's like if you just show up and you try, really, if you try and you give your best effort, if it's not the best performance, but you put your all in it, you get an A.
Yeah,
You get an award for trying. You get an A for trying. But hey, everyone's struggles are different, so who am I to judge? But being in the position of taking science classes and theater classes, it was always guaranteed that if you put in the effort, you're gonna get the A. Whereas we know
exactly. Yeah,
science isn't like that. Science is not like that at all.
that's exactly it. Like the readings, it's annoying to do the readings. There are some nights I had like literally 2 hours of readings to do. But if you do the readings, you will get a good grade. Like it's that simple.
Yep,
And
yep,
meanwhile,
yep.
science, you can do all the readings, you can do all the practice questions, you can study the lab reports, and you can still just get an F for no reason.
Although some of my lab courses, it's like, well, you can have like the lowest yield, but as long as you specify where you went wrong,
Yeah,
then you're fine.
that's true.
Like
That's true. That's
to
true.
some extent. But I totally feel you. Like with other courses, it's like you either solve the problem correctly or you don't.
Or you don't. Yeah.
Or you don't. And
I had one class where like writing the final exam, I was for whatever reason writing in like split us up in different classrooms.
mhm.
And the teacher went into all the other classrooms and wrote like a correction for the test on the exam, but she didn't come to mine. And so I spent so long on that exam trying to figure out a question that was impossible to do. And then at the end, they're just like, oh, we realized our mistake. Okay, so we won't credit that question. And I'm like, how do I get back the like 45 minutes I spent on that question
Right?
though?
How do I get back the mental stress that you just put me through?
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
suing the school. And then now you're rich. That's what you're saying, right? You're rich now because you sued the school. That's
Yeah, that's how I
amazing.
was able to move to the UK.
Wait, okay. So that is my question. When did you move to the UK? Two, why did you move to the UK? Three, how did you move to the UK? Four,
Okay,
what is the UK? There. Those are my four
what is the
questions.
UK?
Yes.
So I'm specifically in England. I'm on kind of like the outskirts of London. So
Yeah.
my UK is England.
Uh-huh.
Um, what, when, why? Okay, yeah,
What, when, where,
when,
why, who?
not that
Who
long
is the
ago.
UK?
Who is the UK?
Yeah.
Not the Queen anymore. I don't. So
Oh,
I've only been here about 10 weeks. I've only been here 10 weeks, and I have been through two monarchs and three prime ministers. So far, it's a bit volatile.
you know, I'm gonna save that comment because I am like the epitome of American where I am not familiar with politics outside of the US. So you come into my podcast to embarrass me. You're like, what does
No.
Darian not know? Let me bring it up so that I can embarrass him on his own podcast. And now you won. You won. I'm embarrassed.
That's good. So we can sign off now, or
Yes, I'm upset, and we are ending this podcast. So why did you move to the UK?
Yeah, I have a real reason, and then I have the reason I like to tell everybody.
Uh-huh.
I like to tell everyone that I moved here because it's my damn ancestral birthright to be here.
Uh-huh.
That's true. My grandfather was
Oh,
born here.
so
That's how I was able to move here.
so
But
you
the
literally when
actual
someone
reason,
someone said go back to your country, you literally
I
went
took
back
it
to you
literally.
look
Yes,
took a look. Gotcha,
yes.
gotcha. Okay.
And like as a white person, I don't get that often. So like once was enough. Someone said it one time, and I just
Yeah.
took off.
You're like, okay, aye, Captain. Will do.
But the actual reason, my fiance is in veterinary school, and the Royal Veterinary College is the number one vet college in the world, and so he's
Ooh.
attending here, and so I am lucky enough because I'm a freelance writer because I finished my master's in August.
Ooh.
I was able to just come with him.
Snap, snap, snap. So what you're saying is if my dog Helix were ever injured or like needs some type of care, surgery, whatever, I can fly over to the UK and go to your husband.
You could, but you're gonna have to wait till he's graduated.
I will do
In
that.
which
Yeah.
case we'll probably be back in Canada, but that's closer for you.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah. So, if Helix needs an emergency surgery, I can wait a couple months, you know? I
yep, exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah,
I'll
perfect.
just wait till y'all come back to Canada when it's convenient for y'all, you know. So, I'll keep that in
Yeah, I
mind.
mean, there's like a real serious vet shortage right now. So like if you could just not have any emergencies right now, that'd be great.
Yeah, so Helix, you heard that. If you get into an emergency, you gotta wait, dude. Wait, also you mentioned your husband, right? Not boyfriend. I
Fiance, but close
Fiance. Oh
enough.
my gosh, I'm a liar. I'm actually gaslighting you. Y'all, you know you're already married, right? The
I
marriage already happened and you just forgot
You know
about it.
what? I weaponize the like patriarchal ideas about husbands
Hmm.
so much whenever it's convenient to me. Like if I have to do something and I don't want to do it, like they were delivering IKEA furniture to us and
Hmm.
they were like, "Oh, well there's a problem with the order." And I'll just strategically be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my husband deals with all those kinds of things." And no one says crap because everyone's just like, "Okay, I guess she's old-fashioned or whatever." So I just absolutely he's my husband when I want him to be.
You're like, ask not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what can the patriarchy do for you? Wow.
Absolutely.
Girl, I,
Absolutely.
I feel you. Sometimes I like to use my sexual orientation as a crutch. Like, Darren, can you drive us to sorry, can't. I'm gay. Can't
I'm getting
drive.
to
It's like
drive.
yeah, it's like, hey, sir, you know you can't shoplift. I don't know any better. I'm gay. I'm gay. My gosh. I totally feel
Love
I
it.
I love that. I feel you with that. How long have y'all been together?
10 years next month.
10 years.
Yeah. So
That
we met
is
in we met in high school. He came 20 minutes late to the very first class of the very first day of high school, and
uh-huh.
he's been late to literally everything ever since. Multiple hours late to pick me up for prom.
Oh, oh.
He will probably be late to the wedding one day, so I've just accepted that. But yeah, he came in 20 minutes late, and I was like, I gotta get me some of that guy.
It
But it was like
was
3 years later that we finally got together.
there's like this motif of just being late. Everything in your relationship.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
What 10 years is a long time.
I know.
You straight people, you breeders.
I resent that as someone who doesn't want kids and is also bisexual.
Oh, not me gaslighting, not me.
Because that's
No.
gonna be the name of this episode.
This is that episode about Darian gaslighting his guests. Oh my, I know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of curious as to how you got into scientific writing because, a lot of STEM majors, a lot of science people are good at the sciencing, but not good at the writing.
Yeah.
I think that's very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I really liked writing fiction growing up, and I
Mm.
have completely stopped that like 100% as soon as I
So
got.
like you love writing like One Direction fan fiction like that and like Twilight fan fiction?
Yeah, definitely don't Google me because you can still find some poetry online that's just not good.
Oh, wait, where is it?
Um,
On Tumblr?
I'm not giving you any more details,
I'm like digging up
but
like you don't have to it's like, yeah, don't share with us, but share with us. Okay, fine. So don't look up Ada McVean on Tumblr on what's it called? Wattpad, where they write like a lot of fan fiction of like Twilight and
Yeah, or like AO3.
Harry Potter. What's AO3?
I archive of our own, I think. I don't know. I think I used to read smut there when I was younger.
I have no idea. I literally have no idea virtually what the words that just came out of your mouth. I don't understand what just happened. I don't know any of that. Okay, but you got into you got into writing, yeah.
Yeah. So I always kind of liked I enjoyed writing and I feel like just the way my brain works, I'm much easier it's easier for me to write things down than to
Mm-hmm.
speak a lot of the time.
Slay.
And it's not like I have no problem with public speaking. I have no
Mm-hmm.
problem talking to you right now, but it's like I can't always organize my thoughts unless I
Yeah.
can write them down first.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that I was already primed for the opportunity to present itself. And then I originally wanted to go into biology and I did not get accepted for biology. But
Mm,
you got a second application for the same price. So I threw in an application to chemistry for no reason,
yeah.
um, and got accepted there. And
Yeah.
I fell so in love with the school and so in love with Montreal that I wanted to go there so badly.
Montreal.
So
Uh-huh.
I went for chemistry. And I
Slay.
intended to switch into biology after the first
Mm-hmm.
year. And then I discovered that I'm horrible at biology.
So you were planning to Trojan horse the biology program.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then I discovered that you just kind of have to memorize things to be a biologist, and I don't have a memory. So chemistry was safer for me. Um, but we have this really unique office that was kind of like an offshoot of the chemistry department called the McGill Office for Science and Society.
Mm-hmm.
And like the best way to explain what they do is just what their like slogan is, which is separating sense from nonsense. So it's kind of like this bridge between like academia and the public, like
Yeah.
just a good resource that people can come to and ask questions. And we write interesting things, and it's always based like evidence based, science based.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kind of just became obsessed with that office, and then wrote to them and was like, "Can I work for you?" And yeah, it's all history now.
Yo, that kind of reminds me of ASAP Science's slogan, making science make sense. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
literally, you know who ASAP Science is, right?
yeah.
Okay, okay. I just
Aren't they?
got
I
them.
think they're Canadian.
They are from Canada. Literally everyone's from Canada. Everyone's from Canada. Do you know Science Sam?
I don't know her, but I
Yeah.
know her. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, imagine if like I'm just like asking all my future guests, like, do you know all of these previous guests I had on my episode? I love, I fucking love Science Sam. She is amazing. She is
Wait, there
so
was a
brilliant.
Sam episode?
Yes, there
What
was a
was
Sam
that
episode.
one? Damn it. Okay, I
Ooh.
know what I'm doing tonight.
I think it's posted. Yeah, it is posted. It is posted. Hello everyone, if you're listening. I mean, of course you're listening. I apologize. I've been a little slow on posting some of the episodes. So I apologize. I've been a little busy, and I have a really good editor, Brian. If you're listening, I mean, of course you're listening. You're editing the episode,
You're listening. No, he's just putting this one at
right?
raw dog. There's no editing on
This is my
one.
test. This is my test for him to see if he's really editing the episodes. So, and then okay, so when did you move to the UK? I think that was the second question. Yeah, when did you move?
Like 8 weeks ago now. So it's still very new. Yeah.
Go! Go! Ooh, was this your two? I have two questions following up with that question. One,
Yeah.
have you been to the UK before, let alone like London? And then
Yeah.
two, was it a huge culture shock living there?
So I came here. So my fiance started at RVC last September. So he was here for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came to see him in July for about 3 weeks. And I just like had visa nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And delay after delay after delay. So like I was supposed to move a very long time ago. And it just never
Mm.
really worked out. And then he
Once
was
again,
back
I
in
told
Canada
you
for the summer.
the motif of things just being delayed, being late.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
reoccurring thing in your relationship.
My original move date was like December 2021. And I didn't end up here until like September 2022. So I haven't been here that long, but I spent a few weeks here in the spring. So at least it wasn't like a total shock of like, let me pack up every single thing I own and just come. And we were able, like, we got our apartment then, we were able to set it up and then
Mm-hmm.
just leave it empty and hope nothing bad happened for the whole summer. Um, Culture wise, I'm not like Canada is an ex colony. So, like, there's a lot of British influence in Canada, like, even a
Mm.
lot more so than I ever realized. And then
Mm-hmm.
I come here and I'm like, hey, we do that. Oh, I guess we got that from them. But
Mm.
also, like I was like joking saying earlier, it is my ancestral right to be here. And I grew up, my parents were divorced, my mom was disabled, so we often lived with my grandparents,
Yeah.
and they were quite British. And I guess I never realized how many of the things we did as a family were super, super freaking British.
Name one thing.
Eating plain jacket potatoes for lunch.
You're like eating cold beans on bread on toast.
Yep, beans on toast. Yeah, absolutely. Sausage
Oh,
rolls. We made sausage rolls all the time. Like, we had tea every day at 3 p.m.
tea.
Um,
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you. One, I feel like as a Vietnamese person, within our culture, we don't eat savory beans. In fact, all our beans that we eat are
Interesting.
in desserts. And so I
That,
think,
huh?
yeah, so personally, I do not like savory beans. There's this dessert called jaya, and how do I describe it? It's like, I guess it's like the Asian version of pudding, but there are like different components in the pudding, if you will.
Okay, yeah, I think I've had it. I think I've had it, and I
Oh,
loved it.
girl, she's cultured. Come on, culture. And
Montreal, man. Montreal's got everything.
Montreal has everything.
Montreal.
And oh, wait, do you speak French?
J'essaie un peu.
Oh, I wish I spoke French. French sounds so sexy. It sounds so sexy, so
French
romantic.
might, Québécois doesn't away. Ah, du tabarnak.
Yeah, so I don't like savory beans. So if y'all ever see me in Chipotle, I can promise you you will never see beans in my Chipotle burrito. Also, you have Chipotle in Canada, right? In UK or no?
Oh, I never went to one in Canada, so I don't know if they do because Quebec's weird. Like, can't there's all of Canada and then there's Quebec. So, like, the rest of Canada might have Chipotle, but Quebec sure doesn't.
But
But
you
they
know
do
what?
here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I love Chipotle so much. Chipotle, if you're listening to me, please sponsor me. Just please, please sponsor this episode. I can pretend.
In
I can
Chipotle, do it.
pretend
Do it.
that this episode is sponsored, and then I can like ping them and be like, "Yo, I just advertised for Chipotle in this episode. Can you give me money now?"
You've never tried their beans, but I'll let you know as a vegetarian that they're really, really good. So,
Really?
yeah, I'll simp for Chipotle. It's become like a totally memey thing to make fun of like British beans on toast and British beans, which like I get. It's fun to
Hmm.
make fun of the Brits. Like, as a semi-British person, you have my permission, of course, make fun of them. They're
Yes. Okay.
colonizers.
Cool. That's
But
all I
like,
needed. That's all I needed in life.
yeah, no, do it. But at the same time, the specific making fun of the beans kind of bugs me. Not from you, from everyone else, because it's like so many cultures have beans. Like, it's not like beans are not weird. Like, so many African cuisines have beans. So obviously Mexican cuisine, like, beans are not weird, and people want to act like Brits are crazy for eating beans. Like, go away.
What if I gaslit you and I told you like, actually, in Mexican culture, there's no beans at all? And I just like this whole podcast, I just like this whole episode, I just gaslight you into thinking like, yeah, what are beans? Beans aren't real. Beans aren't an
I'm
actual thing.
I'm not gullible, but I'm very susceptible to peer pressure. So like, you'd probably get me by the end.
I'm gullible and actually no, I am not susceptible to peer pressure. I know when to say no. So when
Good.
people tell me, "Hey, Darren, want to smoke weed?" No.
Legal in Canada.
Oh, really? I don't know why I'm
Mm-hmm.
acting interested. I don't smoke weed. For those that are listening, I don't smoke. I don't know why I acted interested. It was more like oh, that's an interesting thing. More that was the gesture I was going for. Not like, ooh, I'm interested. I'm moving to Canada to smoke weed. No.
You don't want to sacrifice your new Chipotle sponsorship by talking too much
I
about
know,
cannabis.
I know. Chipotle, please. Please sponsor me. Please, 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 please. All right, so girl, when I did my little homework of Googling you, you you wrote some good articles.
Aw.
And that, yeah, not me gassing you up. Well, girl, I'm not gassing you up. I'm telling you the truth. Bam, 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 bam. All right. So you wrote this really good piece called A Lesson from Nature. what click chemistry is and why it won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, that was
And
very recent.
oh yeah, this was October of this month, beginning of this month, I believe.
Yeah. I also pitched not to that same organization, but I pitched to a bunch of other ones about
Hmm.
like why it matters so much that Carolyn Bertozzi just won a a Nobel Prize because there's
Yes,
never been a queer woman to win a chemistry
yes,
Nobel Prize before. And nobody took me up on it, and I'm still bitter about it.
girl. I'm telling you, be bitter and be petty. Life is short. Be petty.
Yes,
No, I'm just kidding. On your institutional website, I believe, you wrote a bit about click chemistry, but in that article, you specified exactly what it is, and there was a nice visual. I guess can you briefly explain what click chemistry is and why it is muy importante?
yeah. So, I mean, it's basically, it kind of represented like a shift in how we think about organic chemistry. And that
Hmm.
sounds really pretentious, and I recognize that, but I don't think there's a non-pretentious way to say it. But it's like
No, no, not at
before,
all.
before kind of like Barry Sharpless, who also won the Nobel Prize, um, people were kind of doing organic chemistry, organic synthesis, so making new molecules that we hope have like drug-like potential.
Hmm.
They were largely looking at like the compounds that we find in nature, so things like salicylic acid from willow bark, and then they were going back to the lab and they were pulling out binders full of like thousands of pages of organic reactions
Hmm.
and trying to figure out how to perfectly make that molecule.
Hmm.
And sometimes it worked great, and sometimes you spent literally 10, 20 years trying to figure out how to make this molecule only to figure out that you can't. Like it's
Yeah.
just not possible with that approach.
Uh-huh.
And so click chemistry kind of represented a bit of a shift in how we thought about it, where Barry Sharpless kind of looked at nature, and so that's why I called it a lesson with nature. And he was like, why does nature do this so easily? And we are pulling our hair out to do this. What is
Uh-huh.
nature doing different? And how do we take advantage of that? And so essentially, like carbon carbon bonds are just a freaking pain in the ass. Like
Uh-huh.
all of this, like so many of the problems just came from chemists trying to make new carbon carbon bonds. And so Barry Sharpless was like, what if we forget about making carbon carbon bonds
Hmm.
and instead we work from like a few kind of small building blocks that
Yeah.
are unfortunately mostly petrochemical based, but you can't avoid everything.
Hmm.
Um, and we'll take these little building blocks that already have these carbon carbon bonds and we'll stick them together and bridge them with either oxygens, nitrogens, a few others, but mostly those two. And use that to build up a molecule that isn't exactly the same,
Hmm.
but is mostly the same and is likely to have the same like drug like potential.
This kind of that reminds me when you said like learning from nature, it reminds me of this book called Biomimicry. Nature will always find a way to do things much quicker and more efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
We sound so what's the word? Is hippie the right word? Like just learning from nature and just like
Yeah,
licking. Oh no, I dropped my phone. I
I thought it was your coffee.
sound like a little kid. I dropped my iPad.
Mummy.
Mommy, mommy, I dropped my iPad. Mommy, can you turn the iPad back on? My show is lost. What if that was my actual voice? Hi, hi, welcome to the podcast. And then this is all a disguise. Like I'm trying so hard to suppress that voice.
Well,
We're not
and your
voice.
theater classes did good for you because it works.
I'm actually from New York. It's Margaret. Margaret's coming out. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me take a little sip. A little sip of coffee.
I
Oh,
play D&D and I have a D&D character who
oh my
decidedly could have
God.
a British accent, but
I'm
now that I'm here, it feels awkward.
Ada. If we ever meet in person, can you please, please, please teach me how to play Dungeons and Dragons? Because
Yes, it's so easy.
I I hear so many great things about it, and like I got into it because of Stranger Things, or I'm wanting to get into it
Mm,
because of Stranger Things. And
mm-hmm.
I've been told that like you need a really good group of people who are like willing to like immerse themselves into this like reality fantasy. And it reminds me of just like me hanging out with like theater people, theater friends, and I
Yeah,
want to play it.
I'm lucky because like the first group I joined was already online because like
Hmm.
we were all kind of all scattered around the world.
Oh, you
And so
can
the
do it
pandemic
online?
hit. Yeah, there's this really cool website, Roll20. There's a few others, but that's like the big one, Roll20. And it's fantastic. It's amazing. It's free too. But so the pandemic hit,
Do you still play it?
yeah, in two different campaigns.
Can I play with you?
I have to ask my dungeon master, but I don't see him saying no.
Okay, well, okay. Oh my God. Okay, okay. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I just want to learn, and I hear everyone who plays it and has watched Stranger Things is like, yeah, like Stranger Things is pretty accurate on how describing the
Yeah,
monsters. You've seen Stranger Things, right?
I haven't seen the new season, but I saw the like original ones.
Oh, it's good.
It's good.
It's gonna, yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna. You sound surprised. Did you hear something else?
No, I honestly, we started watching Lucifer when we moved here for some reason, like
Lucifer.
no
Uh-huh.
reason. And we're just so obsessed with that. I haven't thought about another TV show in like 10 weeks.
I have not seen. I've heard of Lucifer. I've not seen it. It's
It's
on Netflix, right?
fantastic. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's like a crime drama, which are
Uh-huh.
usually not my things. Like I'm not like an NCIS person, but this
Yeah.
is fantastic. And it's technically like a DC show. I didn't realize they're DC characters. But
Really?
I
Okay.
yeah, I guess they can make shows, just not movies.
I'm not really into DC, TBH. I'm more into the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you're not into the MCU?
No, I'm not super into either anymore, honestly.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
not good at movies because I'm not good at sitting still for that long.
Girl, I feel you. I feel you. Like my attention span, I'm literally like a toddler now. I feel like with the advent of TikTok, my attention span is just like I need I need explosions. I need something that's happening every 5 seconds. Otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get bored out of my mind.
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna
I
get bored
need
out of my
witty
mind.
dialogue, fast paced.
Yes, I need everything fast paced. I need big explosions. I need drama now. All right, going
Yeah.
back to click chemistry. I'm sorry. Went a little
Wow.
tangent.
Yeah.
I have the very cheap version of Zoom, so we had to hop off and then hop back on. And then for a moment, ooh, come on, drink beer. Okay. And then for a moment we had to jump off and then jump back on. And also there's a huge time difference. So
Yeah.
we're 6 hours apart. I'm here drinking coffee, and then Ada's over there drinking water and beer. I could drink beer, but it's too early. I gotta go to lab later. Can I
I
go to
mean,
lab drunk?
admittedly, like it's only 4:30 here. Like I'm maybe a little early, but the British drinking
Mm,
culture is drink always. It's rubbing off
mm,
on me. I'm immersing
mm.
myself.
You're going back to your roots. You know, people are like, "What is white culture?" This is white culture.
Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 The politics here are a train wreck and everyone's drunk all the time. White culture.
When you're describing like the synthesis of these molecules, took me back to organic chemistry lab, and I'm sure like we it was a baby down version of just like trying to isolate a certain product. It's been so long. I have a biochemistry
Yeah.
background. I mean, I understand the concept, but I think it's really neat. Do you think this would pave the way for like the synthesis of like pharmaceutical drugs?
I believe it already is. As far as I know, there's already been quite a few drugs made with click chemistry that are on the market because, like, in the end, so long as the molecule is the same, you can
Yeah.
synthesize it in a variety of ways usually. And
Yeah.
so, like, if click chemistry just kind of allowed a lot of like syntheses that we already had to get
Mm,
simpler, it's kind of, I kind of think of it the difference between like, let's say you need to make like a box out of plastic.
mm-hmm.
You could like somehow get like, I don't know, that like plastic filament stuff they use for 3D printing and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
slowly construct it like bit by bit by bit. Or you
Yeah.
could get some Lego and just snap it all together. That's
Mm.
click chemistry. Click chemistry is
Ah.
like, let's make everything modular and easy and let's only use reactions that we know work really, really well.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's also got like a really big environmentalism aspect too, because in part of using those reactions that work really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
they you can't really do click chemistry unless it's in like water or a really benign substance. And it
Mm.
should be like not oxygen sensitive. It's basically it should be easy. And hilariously, like I spent my whole master's fighting to make one click chemistry thing work, but that's because I work with nucleotides. So
Yeah.
for everyone else, it's super easy. I got it to work by the end.
Yeah, I remember your thesis focused on oligonucleotide chemistry, specifically synthesizing and characterizing small nucleic acid-based inhibitors of Streptococcus pyogenes
I've heard a
Cas9
lot of things, but I used to go for pyogenes.
Oh no, that is, oh my God, literally
Is
this
that
reminds,
right? Wait,
yeah,
you're the biologist.
yeah, hey, I'm a not a microbiologist. Biologist Cas9 using click chemistry. Wow, I memorized all of that.
Mhm, mhm.
How did your whole project thesis go?
It was a lot bigger in scope when we started
Hmm.
because basically, like, it was supposed to be about the actual molecules that we were making, and we're trying to make molecules that would kind of bind to parts of the CRISPR-Cas9 machinery and
Yeah.
inhibit it. So I
Hmm.
like to joke that everyone in the world is trying to make CRISPR work, and I'm trying to make it stop working.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess there's always a handful of people who don't know what CRISPR-Cas9 is. Can you explain?
yeah, true. It is, this is a little confusing, but stay with me. It is the defense system of bacteria. And
Slay.
so bacteria use it to avoid viruses, or rather to like, well, yeah, avoid them. Once they've been infected
Yeah.
once, they use it to avoid them in the future.
Hmm.
And some really,
Oh my
really
God, I sound like
freaking
a PI.
brilliant.
I sound like a PI who's like testing their trainee. Can you explain to the lab what that is? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then I'm like
hmm
fact checking you. Uh-huh.
A really brilliant researcher said, what if we take that same like idea and those same proteins, but instead of using it to edit bacterial DNA, we use it to edit human or cell or plant DNA, like whatever DNA we want. And so people call it like molecular scissors, but it's basically this like system of proteins and molecules that you can use to very selectively edit parts of DNA or RNA. And so, like, the dream is one day to use it in humans to edit things like um, the mistake, quote unquote, in DNA that causes things like sickle cell or like Friedreich's ataxia.
That was
We're
really
not
good.
quite there yet, but we're getting there. Actually, there was the first like human trial of a CRISPR drug, so that was really cool.
Also, CRISPR babies a couple years ago. Uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that was really good though. I think you should like study science. That was a really good explanation. Like you should go into science. That
I
was
should like be a science communicator or something,
Yeah,
right?
for real. I don't know if you've like even considered that or even considered science, but that was really good. Yeah, so going back to the explanation of your thesis, yeah, so CRISPR-Cas9 using click chemistry, yeah.
I worked in a lab that focuses on like modified nucleic acids. So it's like DNA has ATCG, most people know that, but you can also kind of edit the structure of those bases a little bit to make what we call modified nucleic acids.
Hmm.
So you do weird things like throw a fluorine in or throw a sulfur atom in, and it changes the properties slightly. And so I was in a lab that works mostly with modified nucleic acids. And so what we wanted to do was make kind of long chains around like 30 bases long that
Hmm.
would bind to parts of the CRISPR machinery and inhibit it. And that seems useless, but the hope was that if we kind of down regulate all of the effects,
Hmm.
the off target effects, the editing in the wrong place, would be down regulated to the point that they're like not clinically relevant. And the on target editing, even though it's kind of been like turned down a little bit, it would still happen enough.
Mm.
Um, that remains to be seen because that is not the side of the project I worked on. I don't work with anything that's alive. No cells, no organisms here. Um, so all I was trying to do was make those big long molecules that would
Yeah.
hypothetically do that using click chemistry, and that was supposed to be like the very first step in the project. And the hope was that we'd then send them away to our collaborators and get cell results
Hmm.
and like then design better ones based on that and send them away and then get the results and design better ones. And I only ever got one round of results in because it took me 3 years to get the click reaction to work.
Wow. Hey, that literally describes every project you have, like a timeline of what you want to happen. It never goes.
No, never.
In my lab, we have like Gantt charts. We have to like show when we want this phase of our project to happen or finish.
Mm-hmm.
Those Gantt charts, our predictions are always wrong. Everything takes much longer. than
Yep.
than we expect, and so we'll just always have to push things back. 3 years.
3 year, a 2 year master's took me 3 years. But in my defense, there was a pandemic that started right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And also, that pandemic started like literally 9 weeks after I had knee surgery. So I had just taken 6 weeks off to recover. And then I was like, sweet, time to get back to the lab. And literally, I went back to the lab on a Friday. And on
Uh-huh.
that Monday, they closed the university for COVID.
I,
So,
I take back that in your relationship, there's a reoccurrence of things being delayed. I think that's a you thing now. I don't think it's your relationship. I think it's a you
oh my
thing.
God. Okay, we're done. Bye.
And hey, and we're normalizing things being delayed. That is the take home message on this episode. It's okay if things are delayed. Okay, if your project is delayed,
Yeah,
your
it's
relationship
especially in
meeting the, it's
science.
okay.
Things take longer than they think, and that doesn't, most of the time, it's not you. Like, unless you're like spitting in your cells or like just literally staying home every day, if you're putting in the effort, it's
Hmm.
probably not you. It's probably the research.
It's not you. It's me. We're breaking up.
Yeah, it's me,
Yeah.
apparently.
Thank you for the breakdown of your thesis.
I'm still hoping to get a paper out of it one day.
Did you like submit it or did you write a
Yeah,
manuscript?
my graduation is actually supposed to be tomorrow, but obviously I'm in the UK, not Montreal. So
And you're it's supposed to be it's like my graduation is supposed to be right now, but I'm on this shitty ass podcast with you.
no, I as soon as I went to my undergrad
Yeah.
graduation, before it was over, I'd already decided I wasn't going to my master's. Like I was like, this is fun, and I never want to do it again. This is such a waste of time. So
I mean,
I'm fine with missing it. But I did my final thesis submission August 15th.
so I mean with your submitted thesis, you can kind of like double dip and use that to submit like publish a paper, yeah? Or no?
Yeah, yeah, we're just kind of waiting. There's like one more part of it we wished, we being my PI mostly, wished
Uh-huh.
I got done before I left, but I wasn't able to. So I'm hoping that one of the grad
Oh,
students who are still in the lab will kind of just finish up that last thing for me.
yeah, I see, I see. Nice, nice. For those that are wondering, Aiden and I don't know each other. Generally, I feel like most of the guests on this podcast have been uh people that I know in real life. But you tweeted me or you tweeted you're like, "Yo, can I be a
I
guest?" And I was like, "Bitch,
my,
why not?"
I saw it and I was like, shoot your shot, Ada. Like just fucking go for it. Oh my God.
So in life, shoot your shot, DM people. It will not hurt you. It will not hurt you. And bam, here we are. We are talking face to
Exactly.
face. Actually, I'm not even real. This is all a deep fake.
That I mean, that's kind of what I thought before you like responded to my message. Like I was like, oh yeah, I watch his TikToks. Like
It's
whatever,
like
he's
he
not a
got
real
hacked.
person.
He got hacked. Who is messaging me? This isn't him. If y'all want to be on this episode, if y'all want to be on an episode, just DM me, message me. It does not hurt.
The worst he'll say is no and go to hell. I mean,
The worst thing I could have done is just block you.
oh God, that would have broken me.
Like, who is this person? Ugh, block. Who is this British person? Block.
Then I'd be out here like writing op-eds about lab shenanigans is actually a terrible
Yeah,
person.
cancel me, cancel me. Okay, so how long are you planning to stay in the UK?
Right now the plan is just until my fiance's done vet school, so that's another 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. I always forget. 4 year total, and he already did 1 year. So
Mm.
yeah,
So you
two more
wouldn't want to
years.
stay there any longer, like maybe after he
Um,
graduates or no?
I wouldn't mind it,
Mm-hmm.
but he has family back in Canada, that he's
Oh,
very close to.
I
So
see.
we're probably going to go back there, at least originally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they also pay a crap ton better in Canada for vets, like double the salary. So
So why are y'all not staying in Canada or the UK? I'm sorry.
in Canada, they pay
Oh,
better.
never mind. Okay, I thought you said they pay better in the UK. Yeah, girl, go back to Canada.
And also, like, in the end, we want to wind up back in Montreal because it really is just like the most perfect place on earth. I love
Mhm.
that city so much.
Montreal. I want
Um,
to visit Canada so bad. So what I'm saying is, I'm gonna visit you in the UK, and I'm gonna visit you in Canada. Okay.
we just got our pullout, so come on over.
Hey, okay. Okay. So y'all heard it. So if I
Okay,
ask
you're
Ada,
back now.
hey, can I visit you? And she says no, I'm gonna publicly humiliate you. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so Montreal. Yeah, I've always wanted to visit Montreal, Quebec, and Toronto, literally, but been a little busy. I was supposed to go to Toronto a couple months ago, but that didn't work out because other plans happened.
I would not recommend trying to do both of those on like the same trip. People kind of forget how big Canada is. Like those two cities are a 6 or 8 hour drive apart. So, like, I would
Oh,
recommend, like, you could do a week. You could do like part of the week in
yeah, yeah.
Montreal and part in Toronto. But like,
Okay.
everyone's always like, "Oh, I'm gonna do like Toronto to Niagara Falls to Montreal to Quebec City," and I'm like, "You're gonna get to maybe two of those places."
Oh my God, stop yelling at me. Oh my God. I want to do what I want to do. Let me drive my 8 hours. No, that's like literally from Houston to El Paso.
Oh, right,
Uh,
that's true. You're in Texas. You're in like
uh,
the only big state.
yeah, I'm in Yeehaw land. I'm in Yeehaw land. Yes, yes, ma'am. I don't live in Houston. No, I'm just kidding. Houston is cheap. Houston's good, but it is humid. Humid. For those that cannot see, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna post the video component of this video on YouTube, but my face is moist. It is oily. I literally just walked Helix. I just came back from walking Helix, and I'm a little sweaty because it's humid. It's humid in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you'd get the complete opposite in Montreal. It's minus 40 for a good chunk of the year. So
-4. Oh, I forgot. Y'all are in the
Celsius.
Celsius. So I'm trying to think. -40. I don't even know what that means.
0 is 0. That's all I
Zero
know.
is that was such zero is zero. What that makes a lot of sense. So you are a science communicator, writer in the UK, yeah? How is that? What is that like?
It's a lot of trying to motivate myself to do things because it's not like I have like a boss hanging over my shoulder.
Girl, that
Like
sounds
I
like a
have,
regular day in my life. That sounds
yeah,
like
honest, yeah. My PI was very hands off, so it's not that different.
it's like as students in a lab, we're so used to being yelled at and being slaves to our PIs that we don't know what to do when we have our own free will now. But yeah, I feel
uh,
you. I feel you at that. So are you like so you're a freelancer, you're not working for anyone particularly.
yeah, well, so I have an ongoing column actually in an American magazine, Skeptical Inquirer. I
Ooh,
kind of live wherever is like most convenient for me to live. Not
yeah.
actually, I keep living here, but I will tell people I live wherever is most convenient for them to think I live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I work for still the McGill Office for Science and Society.
Ah.
They can't get rid of me. It's been 6 years now, and they've been trying, but they cannot get rid of me. So I write for them. I just finished an article like 5 minutes before the call called about what did I call it? When the cows come home to radioactive ranches, and it's about the cows that were left in the Fukushima exclusion zone after
Oh,
people left.
whoa, 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 whoa. Like it's already posted and everything.
No, it's not posted. I just sent it to my editor.
Oh, gotcha. Wow, that sounds so professional. Sent it
But
to your editor. Wow.
but yeah, so I still write for them, and I have a column in Skeptical Inquirer, and then outside of that, yeah, freelancing hasn't taken off just yet, but I
Hey,
sure
for
am
those that are
sending a lot of
listening,
pitches.
hire her.
Yeah,
Hire her.
please. I can write about anything. My field is chemistry, but I love biology so much. I can do physics. I got it all, man. Just hire me, please.
I
Please
think
hire
that's
me.
one of the perks of studying science is that and especially getting a master's or even getting like a PhD, you within the scientific field you become science literate and so
Yeah.
you're able to and I feel like as a science communicator you're able to break down a lot of complex topics, a lot of papers and break them down into layman terms and you're writing about it and so I think that's very impressive.
Yeah, it's almost like doing lit reviews, like really long lit reviews, and then having to explain it to like your mom or
Yep.
dad who like
Yeah. Oh
isn't
yeah.
in science. I actually I used my mom a lot as like the audience because like she had a
Mm.
high school education and no further. So it's
Hmm.
like if my mom can understand it, then that's what I'm aiming for.
Watch like your mom's like a biology professor in a college. Watch you're like lying to us.
My mother is dead, Darren. You can't say that.
Oh. I'm sorry. Oh no. Oh, hey, hey, my father passed away, so I relate to you on a
My dead parent level.
you come into my podcast to embarrass me. Say hello to my little friend. Ah! Okay. Oh my gosh. Well,
No, okay, but you were right. You were right. Like doing a master's, that's even just doing the bachelor's gets you a lot of the way there, and then doing the master's is kind of like the final step
hmm
of becoming, yeah, properly science literate and properly experienced with like reading really, really complex topics and being able to not only understand them, but then explain them to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of academics, they're good at the understanding part and then
hmm
they don't practice the explaining part.
Yeah.
And particularly if you ask them to do anything that's outside of their direct field, they're just like, what? I don't know what. I haven't done that in
Yeah.
what?
I think nowadays
So
that's why like I think with your minor. Wait, are you like a double major and a minor?
just double major in my undergrad.
Or. Okay, yeah, I think like a lot of I think definitely bridging a lot of like the arts and humanities with science is more important now, or people are beginning to recognize and acknowledge that there needs to be a bridge. Because
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's very tempting to just stay within your own field and you think you can communicate a certain thing in the right way, but it's not the most effective or not the best way. And I think science communication is so important, especially like with
Hmm.
people with like different backgrounds because you bring more
Hmm.
diverse thoughts and ideas to the table. But
Yeah. I, this is like not the fun part of the podcast, but my mom was chronically ill for my entire life. And
mhm.
a lot of what's motivated me to go into science communication has been thinking about all the time she wasted and the money she wasted reading about like wellness cures and like this tea will cure your diabetes and this
Oh
sup
gosh, yeah.
if you can only exercise in this way you won't have like high cholesterol anymore, and she lacked the scientific literacy to know what was true and what wasn't.
hmm
And so like it sounds a little like stupid or something to say that I want to be a science communicator to help people, but I do. Like I also want
No,
to entertain people. Like my most viral tweet to this day is about how turtles can't come out of their shells. But like a lot of the time I really want to try to help people, try to answer like the questions of my friends and stuff about like supplements and exercise and make people's lives better.
I think it's very important that you mention that because I can tell that you're very passionate with the occupation, with your current job, and I think a lot of people can learn from that where well, I feel like a lot of people within science strive for go for the careers that they want to go into because they are passionate, but I know there are other people who just go into specific fields just for the money. And
Yeah.
I want to reassure you, bitch, that your heart is in the right place.
Well, that's good because the money sure is not here.
That's what's that saying? It's like when you
Oh, when you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
yeah, that's the phrase that I'm trying to say. No, the phrase I'm trying to say is if you can't
Oh.
love yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen here? Oh,
Hmm.
do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
I haven't. No,
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry. It's on the list.
yeah. So what you're saying is you're not an ally. You're not bisexual.
No,
You're
I'm
not.
not actually queer. It's
Yeah,
here. Do you want my
you.
queer card? I'll hand it
Yeah.
in.
Thank you. Revoked.
Yeah,
Ada,
fair.
Do you have any motherfucking advice, tips for our listeners?
If I can be annoyingly earnest for a second,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually what I like to tell everybody because my therapist said this to me and it's kind of changed my life, as much as that sounds ridiculous, and I got that. Um, I'm a very anxious person. I have a generalized anxiety disorder. I am on two different anti-anxiety meds, like, and I am
Wait, which
still kind of
ones?
an
If you don't
anxious
mind me
person.
asking, which ones?
Venlafaxine, which is Effexor in the
Yeah.
States, and bupropion, which is Wellbutrin. But
Uh-huh.
since moving here, fun fact, bupropion is not like legal here, not
Oh.
registered. So I am having to slowly transition off of it. Um,
Oh,
my doctor here didn't even know what it was. Like she was on the phone with me Googling it.
really?
Hmm.
The gag. That is interesting. Hey, girl, I totally feel you. I'm on Lexapro, and what are some of the side effects for you that like has affected you?
So like with the caveat that I felt they all got better long
Yeah.
term, like not in like weeks, in like months, they did
Yeah,
get a lot
okay.
better. I You're supposed to take it in the morning, and when I did that, I couldn't sleep at all. So then he told me to take it at night, my doctor, and then I just lightest sleeper, like just waking up at every noise, and I'm not like
Yeah.
that usually. So I had to split my dose, and now I've reached like a good in between.
Yeah.
Um, and then just to go for it, like the anorgasmia, the sexual dysfunction, was pretty debilitating at times.
Yes.
Like it's
Oh my
bad, and no
God,
one ever wants to
girl.
talk about
Yes, everyone. If you are thinking of taking antidepressants, like let me tell, I have no sex drive whatsoever.
it.
It's a curse and a
Yeah.
blessing. It is a curse and a blessing. Let me tell you that. Where I'm like, I feel productive. Not saying that me being horny prevents me from being productive. There is just no like sex drive.
Yeah. It's a blessing and a curse. Yes.
Yes.
But like that, I have that one did get a lot better actually with time. Like I reached a good point with that. And also I stopped taking estrogen based birth control, which I think helped quite a bit. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a bit better for me the past year.
Okay. I've been on mine for like how long have I been on mine? I want to say 9 months.
Oh, so
Uh,
you're like still kind of new at this.
yeah, and if anything, like I am just always tired. I'm so
Mm.
tired.
Hmm.
No sex drive. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. I just feel like kind of like a zombie. Like a zombie who's not like depressed and I just don't have anxiety. That's probably the best way to explain
Yeah. I
the
mean, it's a bit of a trade-off, you know.
yeah, I know, for real. And then there'll be days where I just like I'll forget to take it and I'm like, dang, I feel so hyper. I feel so good, but I feel so depressed.
Wait, I want to share two more. I have like some of the fun weird side effects.
Okay,
So
okay.
excessive yawning. I
Excessive yawning.
Yeah, if I start exercising at all, like even just like walking fast to the store, I'm just
Yeah.
yawning. It's ridiculous. Like I'm walking and yawning. It's hmm
Huh.
and then I lost all ability to thermoregulate. Like I get night sweats. They're a bit better when I like if I take my meds on
Wait.
like a good schedule, but like I bought menopause pajamas that are supposed to help with hot spells because I was waking up absolutely soaked and like my body just had no ability to thermoregulate on its own. Like if I get
Mm.
cold, I'm shivering. There's no like slow lead up of like I'm feeling a bit chilly. It's like I'm fine, I'm frozen.
Huh.
And yeah, I'm just like a
Interesting.
sweaty mess all summer.
Honestly, that sounds like me being in Texas, girl. All right, going back to the advice. What other advice would you like to give to the
Yes.
listeners?
Okay. So my therapist told me that anxiety comes from either basically underestimating how much you can handle or overestimating how difficult something will be. And
Mm.
sometimes it's both. But it has helped me so much to sit and think and be like, I am feeling anxious about like X event, about
Yeah.
this test, let's say. Am I overemphasizing how difficult the test is going to be, or am I underemphasizing like not believing in myself? And just
Oh.
being able to like isolate those feelings has really helped me have a feeling of control, of being like, no, actually, okay, I think I'm just like not believing in myself. So I need to, I know that I do that. That's a thing that I
Yeah.
do. So I can deal with that.
Honestly, like, why even pay for a therapist when we can just listen to Ada talk? Honestly, what about you? You go through therapy and then just relay everything. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, why even pay for therapy, y'all? We can just listen to Ada
hope you
talk
have the
all
same
day.
issues as me.
That was really good. That was very profound.
Animals are incredible. And even if you can't get a pet of your own, there are still ways to have animals in your life. I have been volunteering at the largest no kill cat shelter in Montreal for 3 years now.
Yes.
And even now that I'm in England, I run their Twitter, which generates them like a lot of donations and adopters. And it's unbelievable how helpful it is. Like
Bitch,
I would have a
your
shit ass
goals.
day in the lab,
Yeah.
and I would like our shifts were from 6 to 9 p.m. and I was on the medical team. So it's like, we're not going to snuggle cats. We're not going to play with cats. We're going to shove pills down their throats and like force them to like sit still while we put eye drops and ear drops. And they're not always cooperative. And yet I left every single shift feeling so much better about myself. And I
Aw.
think a lot of the time, like, if you're the kind of person that wants to feel like you're doing good in the world,
Yeah.
even if you're working on those more like, you know, your research will hopefully help somebody someday. But right now, it's a bit more abstract, right? So
Yeah.
going to do something like that, knowing that a cat got its meds because you went to the shelter and did your work, that's really good for your soul, I think. And it was
Aw.
a lot of the time I could only get through like a shitty week or a shitty day knowing that I was going to go help some cats.
That is a type of like balance that we need where you can focus on your research, but not spend too much time in the lab and then do something else to like cool yourself off or like keep your mind off of research and do something that you find very fulfilling. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, Mama. And
Hmm.
if my listeners want to follow you, where can they find you?
So I'm mostly on Twitter, which is
Twitter.
at Ada McVean. But if you want to see me sporadically post on Instagram, I have a cooler title there. I'm not sure why I haven't branded all my stuff it, but that's at the Clumsy Scientist.
The clumsy scientist. All right. And then everything will be posted in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. And I hope that y'all will listen to the. I fucking hate ending these. These are so awkward. Y'all, thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Alrighty. Bye, y'all.